This song's called Overdrive. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got me feeling some kind of good. Taking more than I know it should. At least it feels that way. Alarm ringing way too early. Empty space got me back to sleep. Stay can wait on me. I never wanted a normal life, but need a phone and a car to drive. Can make a name for yourself if you afraid to give up your 2-bedroom. Got you on the phone, asking if you're home. Giving myself too much credit for sure. Too many ways for me to say, girl, won't you send it my way? Helping with your stress, giving you my best. Still plotting ways to get you out that dress. Split an entree with you, table for 2. Girl, that's all I'm really trying to do. We're just getting started on this drive. I've been waiting for it all my life. Girl, I need you. Yeah, I need you. Taking every corner on this ride. Wanna slow it down, but it's alright. Want you riding shotgun every night. We gon' kick it into overdrive. Stop till my fate's been sold. One shot to make this hold. Cancel plans with the band just to meet up. Friends are wondering why they never see us. I want to push through, get you to stay around like a tattoo. Make space on a twin bed to crash on. Even in a king got little separation. Calculated texts and calls. She got you on your best behavior. Staring at the screen waiting for 3 dots, a no screensaver. Downtime kitchen episode. We got the same favorite shows. Pick me up when I'm feeling low. Alright, we're just getting started on this drive. I've been waiting for it all my life. Girl, I need you. Yeah, I need you. Taking every corner on this ride. Wanna slow it down, but it's alright. Want you riding shotgun every night. We gon' kick it into overdrive. We're just getting started on this drive. I've been waiting for it all my life. Girl, I need you. Yeah, I need you. Taking every corner on this ride. Wanna slow it down, but it's alright. Want you riding shotgun every night. We gon' kick it into overdrive. Yeah, 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 we gon' kick it into overdrive.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. One fuck up at the end.
One tiny one. You rolled with it.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Clock watching all day long. Few weeks, but the feeling's strong. Clean the spot, wait around for your call. I prefer on Friday nights to keep my circle small. She wanna kick it on the couch, watch an old show. She ain't staring at her watch or her iPhone. Like my women nearly 6 feet tall. Make the hollow runway for them heels come off. Baby, when you talk like that, tell your friends that you gon' be right back. Showing off when she talk like that. Baby, when you talk like that, hit the room and the rest fades black. Why you always gotta talk like that? It's entertaining, yeah, she always knew my interest. Cooked a dinner from a recipe off Pinterest. Fits a party, then she definitely on the A-list. I'm fucking up if she ain't speaking my language. When I set a mood, I light a candle. Acting cute, she says she's more than I can handle. Pull her close, yeah, I ain't afraid to gamble. I shut my mouth, I got a tendency to ramble. Baby, when you talk like that, tell your friends that you gon' be right back. Showing off, she talk like that. Baby, when you talk like that, hit the room and the rest fades black. Why you always gotta talk like that? She's playing my guitar, hit all the notes thus far. Wanna be my star, got a feeling that I won't mind. Baby, when you talk like that, tell your friends that you gon' be right back. Showing off, she talk like that. Baby, when you talk like that, hit the room and the rest fades black. Why you always gotta talk like that? Cool.
Nice.
Thank you.
You always got me talking like that. Come on now.
Come on, girl, what the hell wrong with you? Dang. Why you got all of that?
2, 3, 4. Saving up some mental strength, never know if I bend or break. Said I've had enough these days, fuck these days. One wish for another, still I smile in your face. As of late, no sun, just rain. I can't let my mental state decimate. One chance to recover, another obstacle. Yeah, shit is volatile, never been economical. You're asking how I've been, I'm phenomenal. It looks impossible through my opticals. I stay irresponsible. You're asking how I've been, I'm phenomenal. Yeah, I'm phenomenal. Yeah, I'm phenomenal. Back in a new black tee, meditation to comfort me. Thought I got a good night's sleep, ain't feel shit from this cold caffeine. Think back to a memory, lately I ain't feel like me. Should I be concerned of these real pains or anxiety? Another obstacle, shit is volatile, never been economical. You're asking how I've been, I'm phenomenal. It looks impossible through my opticals. I stay irresponsible. You're asking how I've been, I'm phenomenal. Yeah, I'm phenomenal. Yeah, I'm phenomenal. past and I've been constantly stressed, trying to master life, but I feel like a novice at best. Know the optics are bad, but I could care nonetheless. I still know I'm phenomenally blessed. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and my mind feel like a prison. Couple bad habits I've been having trouble kicking. Been so long since I started working on my vision. It's irresponsible if you think that I won't finish. Watch me get it out. Another obstacle. Yeah, shit is volatile. Never been economical. You're asking how I've been, I'm phenomenal. It looks impossible. Yeah, through my obstacles I stay irresponsible. Asking how I've been, I'm phenomenal. Thank you. Song's called Phenomenal. It's off our first album, Deja Vu. It's been almost a year since we released that, back in March. So, yeah, time for some new music for sure.
Ryan.
Yes.
Matt. Lot 49.
Yep.
Welcome down, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anneshirley.
Hi, y'all.
Hey, welcome back, girl.
I'm glad to be back.
It's good to have you
welcome. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome, Lot 49. I'm really excited to get into this conversation with y'all.
Yeah, we're stoked. We've been talking about this for a little bit. We've been excited. So yeah, finally glad to be here.
Nice. Well, we got a great performance from you earlier. Thank you for that.
That was fun.
Yeah, it's so very much like kind of like, tell me your certainly reggae influence in there big time. There's, I mean, R&B, is that fair to say, right?
For sure.
You know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hit me with, how do you describe your music? How's Lot 49?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's I like the reggae scene, so like I definitely don't shy away from that. But it's a lot of things. It's like it's R&B. There's a little bit of funk in there. There's some blues in there. Yeah, it's like it's a hodgepodge of just a lot of different things. So it gets really hard to define. When anyone asks me like, "Oh, you're in a band. What do you guys play?" Like reggae is kind of the first thing that comes to mind. But they always come back with like, "Oh, like Bob Marley," and I'm like, it's not like Bob Marley,
right?
But like I love Bob Marley, but that's not really what we're trying to do.
Right.
So it's a lot of hip hop drums with like kind of just like reggae guitar skanks over the top of it, and like just
That's
some
really
groovy
that's the
bass lines.
reggae thing, right? It's the
Exactly.
tune, it's the up, and that's
exactly.
what gives everybody the impression
Totally,
of reggae.
Totally,
sure, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean it's a cool blend, but yeah, we're not any one thing.
Yeah, and
like,
I think that's very much like the Bay Area too. You always have a nice blend of
Yeah.
everything, and so it's kind of good representation of the Bay.
Right, well said.
Definitely.
Very well said. I mean, I think like that for the show, that we're running out here, that we're booking for season 2 now. Like that was one of the things that was so exciting about it, is that we did not put any parameters around what you were going to bring down here outside of, we didn't want anything that brought a bad energy, right? Like anything that was violent or hatred or anything like that. We wanted to avoid that. Not that it doesn't have a place. Anger has a place. Like I'm not against it, but we just didn't feel like it was the right fit down here. But outside of that, it was really just bringing your original thing down here, and the range of music over just 18, 19 episodes that we experienced last season was awesome, and it was all just Bay Area, and it is here, people. The music is here. The talent's all right here. We just got to get together and put it out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is what you guys are doing down here.
Definitely.
So thanks for coming down. So tell me the origins. So of course we talked about this a little bit before, and so I won't get too into asking questions about the crying of Lot 49, because it's a name that you it's a cool ass name. It's after a book that I only know a little bit about. I just know it's like one of those California books, that I will read. It's in psychedelics, I think, are a part of it, which is certainly is something that's very much at the forefront of what's going on societally with us right now. So I think it'd be a good time to do it. But hit me with the origin Lot 49 band.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the Lot 49 name came after the idea. Lot 49 originally was just me in my room, just, trying to learn how to make music in on my computer. Just like, let me record myself and see what happens. I always had an interest in songwriting. Like, I played in bands back in the day as a drummer, and I was always like, I wouldn't say jealous is the right word, but I was always like, drums are really cool, but
I like, you know, the feeling, even when I would just grab a guitar and like teach myself some chords and sing a couple, you know, sing a song. Like, I like that feeling. And so there was like nothing really like
addictive.
that. Yeah, it is. And I think I started out songwriting. I kind of knew that I had like a knack for songwriting. I got actually like into poetry in high school and like just learning about rhyming schemes and all this stuff, and that was really fun, and turning them into songs. And I would hand my song to like our lead singer and be like, hey, can you do this song? I wrote this song. And they would do it. Like, they're great singers. I'm not trying to like knock anything on them, but when they would do it, it was like not the same emotion that I was trying to convey, or it wasn't the same style. And it's like, it wasn't the same. And even I might not be the greatest singer. I will, like, you know, I'll be the first one to say that, but I will, you know, go down trying as hard as I can, and it's just something that I love to do. And so I was willing to just like take that leap and like get into singing and like doing vocal lessons and just like throwing myself into it. So that's kind of where the idea started, and just kind of like making music for fun. And then it was like, oh, I'm kind of like figuring this thing out. I kind of know how to record myself now, and just like by trial and error, just learning it and failing, and then figuring out what I did wrong and then fixing it. And then after a while, like, I remember just feeling like really down on my songs, like just the production. Actually, it was like, I liked the song. It was like, how do I make this sound professional? Like, there was something missing from like when I would listen to a song and then I'd listen to my song, I'm like, this sounds like I recorded it, you know, in an apartment.
Right.
And there was something about that like really stuck with me, and it was like, I need to crack this code. And I think it's always something you'll ask. I've heard artists that I like admire say things like, oh yeah, like my songs are okay, but like, have you listened to so-and-so? Like, their production is crazy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Your production is crazy. But I think you always like idolize people, you know, that have been doing it for a long time. And I don't know, I've gotten to a level where I'm at least satisfied with like the level of production we can get from it, especially from just like an apartment, you know, studio that I have, and it works. So that's kind of where it was born, just me just messing around in my room and then writing some songs. And then like I wrote a good one. One of the songs we performed, Overdrive, was like the first one that I was like, this is like, this has something that like other songs didn't have. And it ended up being our first release, and I brought in a couple buddies to come play with me, and we played a show. We had one original song and the rest were covers. And, you know, then it was just about building our, you know, original collection and like what we could perform, because the goal was always to be an original band, and covers were just kind of like a crutch for a while. And now I feel like we're finally at a point where it's like, damn, we have like, you know, 15, 16 original songs. You could play a set there, you know. Yeah. So it feels good to be building towards those goals. So yeah, it's kind of the origin story.
Good for you to have that number of original songs too. Like I'm fortunate to have a good catalog of original songs I've written, and yeah, you write a lot of crap songs, you know, no doubt about it. And but you keep writing, and I think that's the like. Would you say before Overdrive came along, did you write a lot, or was it something early that happened with you?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote a lot, and it's funny about when I write, I actually like, I've heard a lot of people say like, you know, I wrote, you know, 15 songs before I found one that I like, you know, like to keep. And that happens to me to some extent, but I feel like over time, intuitively, I kind of know when a song has potential. And I feel like if I'm finishing a song and like I've written, you know, the melody for it, and it has a couple verses and a chorus, and like if I'm already at that point, like I have a pretty good sense that like this is something worth pursuing. Otherwise, like I have the 15 songs that I started a chord progression on and tried a melody on, and I was just like, nah, fuck this. This is just like, you know, it's, can I swear, by the way, on here?
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool. You never know. So, yeah, it's just sometimes it's like, I'll know early on, like, this doesn't have what, you know, I think it needs. So I go through that. I just don't finish songs all the way and then abandon them as often. It happens, but just it's not necessarily like, when I get attached to a song, that's when I'm going to finish it. And that's how I know it's like, okay, something's here, so I'm going to finish this and see where it goes. So
I totally, absolutely, 100%. Like there are ones, like right now I've got 2 lines of a song that will not leave me alone. Yeah. And I don't think about it. On a daily basis, I'm not going back and listening to a recording of it or reviewing it. It just, bam, in the middle of the day, it hits me again. And when somebody does that, it's like, okay, you know, keep it marinating. Like it will work its way out. You know it's worth the effort and the time to put into that song.
Yeah.
You know what but I still finish songs that I play and record and send to friends, and I'm like, yeah, what do you think? You know, oh yeah, this is great. You know, and I'm just like, nah. It's not.
Sometimes you just kind of you there's an initial spark, but then you kind of like you lose the lust for it. But I'm curious, like, you know, from another songwriter's perspective, I always like, you know, picking people's brains. Do you like, what's your go-to writing style? Do you feel like, you know, you are writing pen and paper and acoustic, or like, do you work in a DAW to write your songs? Like, what do you normally do?
I've written, probably in no exaggeration, from start to end, probably 300 or 400 songs on that Martin guitar out there.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
Ooh.
maybe more than that, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that guitar, and I are like one and the same.
Yeah,
and
totally.
so there are a few songs that I write with an electric guitar, but to really, the answer to your question is I open up a DAW. Sometimes I don't even demo on one. Like sometimes I just pop my phone out most of the time and just do it on that.
Yeah,
It's just something super quick to get it done, because really what I want to do is then, like, I work it up and then bring it to the band once I feel like I've got my part nailed down.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Everyone has their own style.
So we're reversing the interview here.
I know.
So the question that often is proposed, and I always propose it, even though songwriters all have the same answer. It's like, do you have a first thing? Is it a melody that comes to you? Is it words that come to you? Do you sit down? I think this is more my question. This is going to be my new way of asking this here.
Okay.
Do you plan to sit down and write, or do you have a spark that you then write to?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think 9 times out of 10, it's something that I'm like, I want to write a song, so I'm going to go sit down and do it. And like, it doesn't always like end up in anything, but I rarely I'm not a doodler that transitions into something that I'm like, oh, I like that. Like, you know, I'm gonna save that. That doesn't happen that often. Not to say it's never happened, but it's like I feel like with this project, I have a million things going on at once, trying to like, you know, work on like what's the band doing for live performance. You know, I've just started to dive into like trying to market. You know, sometimes the shit just doesn't happen. Like, you gotta like put some time and energy out there to make, you know, to promote yourself. So it's like, I always feel like, you know, there's not enough hours in the day sometimes to do what I need to do. So I kind of have to chunk out time to be like, I haven't written a song in a while. Everything else is kind of in a good place for me. Like, I'm gonna just go into the studio for a few hours and just like do it. And I usually start, a lot of our songs are very, like, the beats are very electronic, like program drum focused. We have a lot of songs, I wouldn't say a lot, we have a handful of songs that I really spend the time to program them, but give them like an acoustic drum kit feel, which just takes a little bit more time and playing with, you know, how, you know, loud the sounds are and all that, you know, producery stuff. But a lot of times it's, just like, I'll do a beat, do like a quick, you know, 4-bar beat, and then, you know, get the guitar out and like start doing something, and then I'll kind of hum a melody over it until it's like, oh, I like how that sounds. Maybe that's the start, maybe that's the chorus, whatever it is. And yeah, then it usually goes from there. And, you know, a lot of times it doesn't result in anything. I have a lot of projects that are just like that, 4 chords and like some shitty, you know, humming over the chords. But every once in a while, you'll get like something that just like really inspires you, and you just like don't want to leave that studio space. And, you know, my girlfriend, now fiance, is like always like, dude, what are you doing? You've been in there all day. Like, it's Saturday, like, let's go do something. And I'm like, I know, like, like, we said we were gonna go somewhere, but like, I have this spark in me, and like, there's something in my soul that like will not let me leave that room. And I kind of just gotta like suffer the consequences with her, because I know she's gonna be a little bit upset, but she also understands too. That's like, you know, when you feel that, like, when I like to say, like, when you catch that vibe, like, you just gotta roll with it sometimes.
You got to.
So yeah. So it's hard for me to put it down, but life calls sometimes, and you got to do it. But yeah,
you got to ride that. You have to ride the heat, you know. And I feel exactly the same way. There are times where I do sit down. The last song I wrote actually was one where I sat down with the intent. Like I had a purpose. I was like, okay, I really want to work up like a new show opener, and so I'm kind of feeling something like this, and so I sat down and did that. And I think it's a decent song, but you can, for me, I feel the difference between a song that I sit down and have this like intent and one that just nails me. And it's like, whoa. And I'm the same way, like call in sick to work. Like screw it, man. I got to figure this thing out.
Totally.
You know, and those are wonderful. That's a blessing, like to have that feeling.
For sure. Yeah, I think you know, hopefully no one at my work would watch this, but there's been some times where, you know, I've been working and been, you know, preoccupied with some other stuff. So, and with quarantine, it you know, lends itself well to that.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's cool. It's cool.
It happens.
And subscribe.
Yeah. So yeah, it happens, but man, it's songwriting's weird, man. It's sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not, and it's very frustrating at times because I get really down on myself too. Like if I have a shitty songwriting session, I'm just like, nah, fuck this. I need to sell all my guitars. Like this is just like, you know, maybe, you know, I never go through with it obviously, but like I sometimes have those thoughts of self-doubt where it's like, you know, I get very jealous also, like, and I've been trying to work with myself to not compare myself to other people who I admire, you know? And I think sometimes when you admire people, you look at their work and you're like, if I could only do work that good, like some of my favorite artists, I'm like, I don't know how they do that. Like, I just want to do what they're doing sometimes.
Right.
And you could get kind of fell into that trap, but like also at the same time, I have to remind myself that like, I'm me, like we're us as a band, like we are our own selves and we're not going to ever be like, I think John Mayer once said one time, like he found his style by trying to be someone else and falling short of that. And that was John Mayer, you know?
Right.
And so I think sometimes there's nothing wrong with striving for that. But I think you can obsess over it sometimes too. And that's like where it gets too far. So I really try to like level myself out and just be like, hey, look, I'm on my own path and, you know, whatever happens, happens. And I'm just going to try to stay as authentic to myself as possible and see where that takes me.
Yeah, and like
can't do anything else.
you also never see anyone else's struggle. You only see the final product. So they probably go through the same thing, throwing away songs and all that, but you only hear the album.
That's very true. Yeah.
Well said. I totally
true.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So talking about, we haven't really gone through the origin story yet of you guys.
Yeah.
So
I know.
there's 2 out of 3.
Yeah, right now we have a 3-piece band. Our drummer couldn't join us. He's actually in San Jose as well, so he's pretty local. But yeah, it's like we're a 3-piece right now. We were a 4-piece at one point, but we've kind of settled on the 3-piece thing. It's kind of nice. So yeah, Matt, you know, I don't know if you want to tell our origin story, but yeah, we've known each other all my life for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, basically our parents knew each other growing up. We're always friends and stayed local. And yeah, we were always together, kind of brothers without being blood. And yeah, so when he started making all this music, I was a fan first. And then there was like an opening and I was moving back to the Bay. And it just kind of was like perfect timing, all worked out perfectly. And yeah, I tried out.
We did have a little tryout for him.
Yeah.
It's funny because, you know, I think he would say this as well, but like he's always played bass but like it was never, he's been in bands before and kind of like fucked around, but it was never for him, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it was never like, he was never like, I'm in all these bands and I play, you know, 3 hours a day and all this stuff. It was something that he would pick up and like just mess around with. Yeah. So when he moved out here, I was like, yo, like I know you play bass, like why don't you just like come like, you know, try out, I guess, you know. I
felt like I wanted to like respect the band enough to try out and not just be like a given just because I know Ryan so well.
Right.
Because I didn't, like I said, I was a fan first and I didn't want to bring anything down or bring down the quality of the band at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And my last band experience was rough.
Talk about it.
And like I didn't know much about it, so it wasn't only on them. It was just like this weird mesh of personalities. So I was a little timid to get back into a band, but also felt really comfortable with Ryan to play, and I knew I could always ask him for help or whatever.
You should tell the band story if you want to.
Yeah, it was just like a weird thing. I used to live in this place called the Rock Loft in San Francisco, and it was like a venue but we lived in it. So like the lease was technically a venue. And in order to withhold that, we needed to put on shows in the living room. And it was on Broadway right above like one of the random clubs. And this one band was always like playing over there, and they had lost their bassist. So they just, from kicking it with them after they played or whatever, they were like, why don't you play with us? I did. And I'd never played live before. They had always been in bands. And basically a bunch of stuff happened. And the last show, last minute we were going to do acoustic, and I wasn't very seasoned. I didn't know how to transition right away. And it was just, it was bad. I was basically on stage. I messed up like every part I could. I did as worse as I possibly could. I just felt all the faces staring at me. And the lead singer was just looking at me like, what are you doing? And it was all his music. And so I was scarred. And that was it. He texted me the next day. He's like, sorry, man. We're going to move on. I was like, fair. I get it. So now it's a lot more of a welcoming, comfortable environment.
Good.
It seems like Ryan is the reason why, though, that you were able to overcome that
for sure.
anxiety. And I'm kind of curious to get into like how your relationship as friends plays out in the music too. Do you feel more at home when you're playing because you have your brother with you versus that last experience you just shared?
Yeah, definitely. And we text every day. We're basically like always hanging out anyways. And so, yeah, it's just very natural, you know, and he knows my experience. There's nothing to really like hide, or I don't feel like I have to like live up to something. You know, like I said, I've always like listened to the music. So yeah, it's been good. And I don't think it like hurts in any way. I think it definitely helps.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think like, even though like I, you know, take the lead on a lot of things, and, you know, I try to write as much of the music as I can and all that stuff. I think one thing that's always been something that's like been really important to me is like, I'm like very introverted. I'm very like spotlight not on me, which I always, when I tell people that, they're like, wait, you're in a band. You're like a frontman of a band. Like, I gotta say, like, getting up on stage for me is like, it's gotten a lot better. When I first started doing it, when I was a drummer, it was fine. It's like, I'm in the back, no one gives a fuck about me. Like, I'm just hitting things, and like, it doesn't really matter. When I stepped into the world of singing and like being like the spotlight, it was like, I need to be on my game more, and these are my songs, and like, you're kind of opening up in a way. So with it came like a whole nother like emotional thing to do it. And for the first couple of years of playing, I hated playing shows. Like, it was like, in like, planning for a show was fun. I was like, oh yeah, doing a show sounds fun. Show day, like, I was a mess. Like, there would be times where I would wake up with like super bad anxiety, and like, it's just like, you know, stage anxiety, or, you know, stage fright, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
When I would get up there, it'd be fine. Like, every single time, like, you would just like suck it up, and you're just like, well, I'm not gonna like bail on this show. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I gotta do it.
You have
to.
I booked the gig. Like, that would be a bad look.
Yep.
And so you go do it, and as soon as you get on stage, and like, you like, probably like halfway through the first song, like, you know, most of the nerves go away. But preparing for a show for me for the longest time was like not a fun experience. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a spotlight person, so that I think that's why, like, you know, bringing other people in and like giving them the credit that they deserve. Like, it's like, I don't want it to be like Ryan is Lot 49 and that's a solo project and all that stuff. Like,
right.
Even though like, yeah, maybe I like write the music and record the music and stuff. Like, when it's show day, it's like, I'm not doing all that stuff. I can't play bass and drums and stuff at the same time. So there is like definitely a whole lot of credit to go around. And it's
Absolutely.
like, you know, I have people like, even though I'm pretty much mixed and mastered our whole album, it's like, how many times did I have someone come over that like knew a little bit more about production than me, and like give another ear and be like, nah, like this needs to be different. Like, and you know, our old guitar player too, like, you know, the songs wouldn't be what they are. His name's Daniel, and the songs wouldn't be what they are. I'm not a lead guitar player by any means, so like, he added some flavors to the songs that like, if I was just in my room by myself, like, I never would have been able to come up with, you know. So it is really like, you know, it's cliche, but it is a team effort. Even though like, at the end of the day, yeah, I guess like I wrote the lyrics and I wrote the melodies and all that stuff. So, but yeah, I'm definitely not a showman. I don't love the spotlight on me. And I think it just kind of comes with like, I love the music so much and I love like making music so much that the performance side has just kind of come with it. And the more you do it, then the more you get comfortable with it. And now it's like not nearly as big of a, process to go play live. It's like, yeah, you get pre-show jitters and that's normal, but yeah, it's not as like daunting as it once felt like. I've definitely had moments where it's like, don't talk to me because I'm so focused on like, the getting up on stage and like, we have 15 minutes till showtime. Like, oh shit, like, it's happening. I had those panicky moments. I'm a naturally anxious person anyway. So I think that kind of
same relatable.
Yeah, totally.
And I think like coming from the last band I was in and having all that nerve, knowing that Ryan is kind of similar in that sense, it kind of like, I don't know, I feel a little bit more at ease knowing I'm not the only person, feeling super new. Yeah. Because he's been in bands his whole life. I've only played, bedroom songs and stuff like by myself. So, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
It like the pre-show jitters, I wonder, as I'm listening to you guys talk about that, and certainly I know it, but I wonder if that's one of the reasons why rockers don't normally go on time, because it's like a defense mechanism against it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not afraid of this thing. Like I won't because I think it's like obligation, right? Like once you have that sense of obligation that gives you anxiety, and it's like, okay, 7 o'clock, I got a really good job and I got 45 minutes and I got to get on and off. And it's like the next band's going, like whatever the thing is, and there's all this going on and you don't want to F up your opportunity, right? Because every opportunity performs an opportunity to, hopefully get someone else that wants to dig your music or help you take it to the next level and stuff. And so there is a lot to be anxious about, and so I could kind of see how in my own attitude a little bit where it'd be like, go on a little bit, we're cool. Because now you kind of like diffuse myself.
And now you're taking control of the situation.
Right, exactly.
You don't have to be on at that time. You go on when you want to.
Well,
not that I ever have any control issues at all.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I want to go back to you talking about all the different things that you have to do, right? Because that is absolutely the case.
Yeah.
If you want to make it today in a lot of forms of entertainment, certainly anything that's original that you're creating yourself, you got to be an entrepreneur. You got to be.
Yeah.
You got to wear so many hats and to get into so many different things. And one of the strangest aspects of it to me is when people put down on when you spend dollars to market your thing. And I'm like, well, that's what advertising has been for a really long time.
Yep.
So like, why is this any different? Like you can't, the algorithms of social media, of YouTube, of all of these platforms are designed to work against you or designed to monetize you, right? Not necessarily work against you, but to monetize you. And if you can't prove to them a level of engagement, a level of guarantee, then they look at you in a different form. And I don't think many people are awake to that yet. So you're stepping into marketing, you said. You do or do not have much experience in it yet?
Almost no experience. And it's been, we were talking earlier, like, it's been a lot of YouTube education, graduating from YouTube University. And
there you go.
I think also, like, from what I've heard about marketing, especially social media marketing, it is kind of like a black magic thing. It's like if you're in the industry and you know the tricks of the trade, like, you will succeed. But there's only also so much, info you could garner off of YouTube. It's like they give you this template and it's like, yeah, that, like, maybe that works. I'm not knocking that, but like, does that work for me? I don't know. There's a million different ways to do it.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
The person who put that video up is not concerned about you being successful on marketing or not. They're concerned if they get enough people to look at their video so they can monetize you.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's their purpose.
Yeah.
It's not actually to help you out.
Right.
But at the same time, it is there to help you out. Like somebody does understand it. Many people understand this. I still argue that at the end of the day, you got to provide the dollars in some case or you simply cannot break through the noise.
Yeah.
You're just part of it.
Totally. Yeah, for sure.
So what have you done thus far? Like what besides, or even talking about YouTube, like what have you found so far that someone else listening to this might garner from you in your experience thus far?
Yeah, man, I think that the biggest lesson that I've learned is you have to spend money to make money. I think it's like, that's
Okay, there we go. Yep.
yeah. So, I mean, like, I think when I first got into marketing the music, like, I was, a little bit like, I wouldn't say ashamed, but like, just kind of like, I had an ego a little bit about it. It's like, I kind of came into this, like, thinking like, I make what I think is cool music, and I think that other people would think it's cool too. Maybe it's not like, it might not be the best fucking song ever, but like, I think there's like an audience out there for this.
What is the best song ever?
Right.
I mean, everyone at this table is going to have a different answer to that right now.
Totally. So. Yeah. And so I kind of came into it with this ego of like, I'm going to just release music and like people are going to dig this. Like I'm just going to release it and I'm going to have 10,000 followers on Instagram soon.
Yeah.
And like, I release this song like, pretty soon it's going to have
genius.
Yeah, it's like I just kind of
How can you not love this song?
I know, I just kind of thought you put it out there and like you build it and they will come, as they say in Field of Dreams. So that was not the case at all. And it's like week 1 or week 2, it's like you're looking at your Spotify numbers. Like we did like a 3 singles before the album, and we dropped the first song, which was Overdrive, and I wouldn't say it did bad at all. Like it was, people were listening to it and people were sharing it and all that stuff, and that was so cool to see. But
you put it on Spotify?
Put it on Spotify, and yeah.
And then did you at that point? Did you do any marketing at that point?
I did not do marketing I did not spend any money on marketing until maybe about 6 months ago. Okay. And we put out our first song in 2018. So all of that was just like organic.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth, and just like trying to like, I would call it like guerrilla marketing. It's like, I try to connect with as many people as possible. Yep. And like, I think that's the biggest thing too that I've also noticed is like a lot of times, and I was probably guilty of this early on, was like someone checks out your Instagram profile and I would message them and be like,
yep.
Hey, how's it going? Like, thanks for following. Here's my music. You should go listen to it. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, people maybe would do that, but like I wasn't offering them anything, and they were just kind of like, oh, cool, I liked your picture, and now you're like sending me all these links to check you out. Like maybe like 1% of people will do that. But the biggest thing for me, and like I actually get a lot of enjoyment out of doing this, is like when someone actually takes the time to listen to a song, one person, like to me, that's like so awesome. I like, even though I went into this with this ego of like people should like this and all this stuff, like when it actually happens and people message you and are like, yo, I checked you out, like this is awesome, like I'm so glad I found you guys, like it like is the coolest feeling to me, and I'm like, fuck yeah, this is why I do it, like even if it's just one person.
Absolutely.
So it's making that connection.
We don't give our time up easily, do we?
No.
Even though we waste a ton of time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, talk about it.
We get on TikTok, we get on Instagram. Oh, here we go. This is what we were talking about. Oh, wow, this is a good segue. All right, I didn't intend on this. This just worked. But we get on there, and I mean, when you collect all the minutes of all the different times that we make that escape in a day, it is depressing. And I've not watched the thing on Netflix yet. I just think about this stuff all the time. Yeah. I know I do it. I do it because I want my thing to be successful, right? So I'm on there. I'm engaging with people. I'm constantly checking. Do I need to talk to somebody else? Is somebody hitting me up? I'm booking the show. It's like all these different things going on. So there's a reason for me to be on there. But we waste so much time to not be willing to give an artist 3.5 minutes of our attention.
Yeah.
Which is probably like, I don't know the statistics. It probably came out at like a 20th of the time that you spend wasting scrolling through stuff that means nothing to you and you have no intention of engaging with,
Yeah, I mean, like if you think about, do you remember can you name 5 different posts you saw scrolling through your Instagram? Like, probably not. But like, can you name 5 conversations that you had or 5 people that you interacted with? You're probably way more likely to be able to do that. So, yeah, there's so much mindless. It's just mind-numbing scrolling, and we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it too. And like you were saying, it's like as like playing that entrepreneur role. I feel like a lot of my social media usage, I do the like, stupid just scrolling and Twitter, Instagram, whatever.
Who doesn't?
A lot of what I do on social media is like, how do I build my brand up? How do I like interact with as many people as possible? How do I, increase engagement and all that stuff? So like, I've thought about like, I need to give up social media. You were talking about, you know, taking away your notifications and stuff. And I've done that to some extent. Like, I don't need to like respond to a message in 0.5 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've gotten rid of like doing the, like when they say like, so-and-so liked your photo, like I could open the app and see who liked my photo. I don't need to be alerted of that.
Right.
But
Dopamine.
exactly.
Bam.
Yeah. But
let me see it again. Bam. Let me see it
and
again.
yeah.
Bam.
And it fucking works. That's the
It
crazy
does.
thing. And they
It
know
does.
that. And so
That's how they're making tons of money.
yeah, I've tried to limit as much social media as I can outside of like Lot 49 stuff. But it's still hard. Like I still, like I said, do my thing, but it's hard to be in the entrepreneur mindset and like totally step away from social media. Like people say, do a social media cleanse, and it's like I can't do that.
How? That's the other part of the game. That's
Yeah.
why, like, you mind the miner, right? I say this all the time. The people who really made it in the 49ers, right, in the gold rush, were the ones who were selling the pickaxes, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones who made the money.
Damn.
The poor sods, myself, you, right? We're out there chipping away at the side of that mountain, and that guy is standing beside behind the counter selling us another pickaxe with the last dollar to our name, and he's going, yeah, I think you're on it.
Yeah.
You're on it now. You just keep picking away. I can smell
You're
the gold.
almost
Every
there.
time you
Yeah.
walk in here, I smell that gold. So you just keep, and we're out there just,
Yeah,
just
totally.
killing that mountain, man.
Yeah.
We're going to find some gold in there. That man said we were good. Said we were on it. Let's go get it.
Yep, exactly.
And that's why I have a thing. Social media are pimps. That's what they are.
Yeah.
They want us showing our butts. They want us out there bearing our souls. They want us out there telling all of our secrets. They want our fights on there. They pimp us out.
Yeah.
They're just sitting there on their yachts collecting it, man. And we're the ones who are scrambling around, getting. But the thing is like mind the miners. Like, how do you get around that today? How do you get around it today?
Yeah.
I think too, like kind of taking back the control of the social media, because I've tried to really curate who I follow to only be like inspirational posts or like, another designer or another musician. So instead, and then teaming that up with taking out all my notifications. So when I do go on it, yeah, I could be doing something better with my time, but at least when I'm on there, there's a lot less mess. And I can find some inspiration, or, like someone posting a workout routine, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably get off this and go work out. Mm-hmm. So I think, it's tough, but kind of regaining that control and then actually using it for yourself instead. It helps a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
I really like what you said about curating your timeline to fit what you want to see. Mm-hmm. Arguably, that's how I found Lot 49 in the Roadhouse, right? I was on a journey of looking for authentic music and finding just people who express themselves authentically, and y'all do it really well. So it's really challenging trying to find that balance, but I totally emphatically agree with you. Taking back control of your social media is how you break that addiction to some degree.
Yeah. And it's like, I just have one of those personalities. Like, I would love to just get rid of it and do a cleanse and be good. And
I'm free.
Yeah, but I just can't. I accept it. It's who I am. My friends are on there. I want to be, show what I'm doing or share designs or whatever.
Would you do it? Would you cleanse for like a week?
Yeah.
You could do that?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
See, I don't think I could do that.
I think you could if you had a week.
I mean, yeah, if I could, again, I think it goes back to like when you're trying to build a brand name or build
Right.
build something up, it's kind of like a 24/7 thing.
Right.
And like to me, feeling like taking a week off from that is like missing 7 days of a chance to like
Yes.
make a dent in like this massive hole that you're digging,
Yeah.
or what it's
true.
it's a
No,
chance
I
to find
agree.
gold.
It's like talking about each performance. Like each performance is an
Right.
opportunity. Each post is an opportunity. Or at
Right.
least that is what we like to imagine anymore.
Right. Yeah.
But it can be. There still are things that get connected in that way. But it is so metric driven now that it's really, that's what's so hard to crack. Like even when you're talking about A&R guys, like I don't know how important labels really are anymore for a lot of us.
Yeah.
The ability to self-publish and whatnot is just readily available, and I'm all down for that. We're starting a label out of this thing, but it's more kind of getting the Hard Souls band up and stuff like that. But the A&R guys, they're all looking at the numbers. That's it. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry, they're not looking at the numbers. They have interns who are looking at the numbers and then delivering them along with coffee, you know, and saying, "Oh yeah, this is really spiked. Oh, cool. Like, has anybody picked them up yet? I don't know. I'll look that up for you, sir. Thanks, great." Yeah. You know, and it's really sad. The music industry, frankly, Napster, it did it, and Spotify, like as soon, which it was inevitable. I don't see how it would have happened any other way. Of course, we were going to digitize our music catalog. Yeah. Why would we not? Yeah, you know, I'm down. But it is, if there was a way to take back control of social media, which I realize we mean that at an individual level, not as like a society. Mm-hmm. But if we could do that with music as well, that'd be awesome. You know, being able to survive and not be someone who has to sell out stadiums to survive. Like the leap is pretty big these days, man. It's big. Yeah. There used to be Facebook stories, and I guess there are TikTok stories now and stuff where people can make a living, but you got to ride that wave early. Yeah. And now it's so quick, like you were saying earlier, with the stories now, it is the 15 seconds. So you can't tell. I mean, I guess you could tell if a song's good or not within 15 seconds, but like if
they
you're
always say like 3 seconds is all you have to capture a listener. I mean, there's been songs that I don't like until the chorus comes in, and maybe I don't like it on the first 3 listens, and then then 5 listens in, I'm like, oh, this song is actually kind of growing on me.
That's true.
So I think you have 3 seconds to make a snap judgment, and I don't think that snap judgment is always like the most fair, you know?
Yeah, well, especially then for you, like if you're the songwriter and like this is something you went vulnerable about and you opened up, that's tough.
Yeah, it's
brutal.
And also it kind of, in a way, I mean, it's part of the game, but like in a way it kind of takes the fun out of the creation process. I never want to write a song where I'm like, these first 3 seconds, man, I'm going to post this on social media, and if I don't capture someone's attention, then they're just going to skip it. I don't want that to be my thinking. Like, if I want to write like if I want to write an intro that's like, you know, longer, like some people have told me in the past, like, no, cut your intro in half. It's too long. And I'm like, like, get to the good part faster. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I get you. I get what you're saying, but like, I wrote this way, and I'm not saying I'm not open to feedback, but maybe there was a reason that I did it this way, and that's just what felt right. And I don't want to be in a position where I'm like, well, you know, this isn't going to perform well on social media if it has a 15-second intro. So, but it kind of seems like you almost have to think about that a little bit at least. Like, you know, you got to catch people's attention.
If you're not in any product, if you're not considering your consumer, then what's the point of creating the product? Right. And we were talking like earlier about David Bowie, and actually you were talking about the intro. Immediately I thought about Station to Station, David Bowie. I mean, the intro to that thing is like 1.5 minutes long or something like that, but it hits. You know, what can you say? And I've been told that exact same thing. And actually, the song I just wrote, I intentionally doubled the intro. I was like, you know what? I'm making this a long intro. I'm doing this. Yeah. Yet, at the same time, there is just a normalcy around the music that the consumer wants, you know? And if you do take a long time, even if you feel like you're having an artistic expression, fine. Express yourself artistically. But you will narrow your audience by doing so. And that's fine. That's a choice that each creator, you know, makes, right?
Totally. I mean, I think, you know, one thing about Lot 49 in general is like I said, it incorporates a lot of different influences. And one of the influences or the genres that I didn't really mention, which it actually does, it's like it is pop music in a way too. And like I think like when you're delving into the world of pop music, you know, I like a good pop song for sure. Like it's not, you know, something that I'm listening to all the time, but there is a time and a place for it. And I think that's kind of where like you see like just like this, it is the utmost commercialized music. It's formulaic. It's all this stuff. And, you know, I incorporate some of those elements into there because it is familiar. And it's like, you know, it can be, you know, a good pop song is like a good pop song. It's like it's a good ass song.
It's a reason why millions of people like the song, right? Exactly. There's a reason. It's not because it's bad. And it's not It's not only because of the psychology around it. Well, I mean, that the machine understands how to do it, right? And the machine understands how to do it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Dr. Luke and Max Martin have written how many hits in the past 20 years? I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
They've written, and if you look at the numbers of like Clear Channel hits that came out, Taylor Swift being one of the big ones, with a number of acts they wrote, or their production crew wrote everything. A lot of songs had 8, 9 writers on it and stuff like that to piece these things together. It's very scienced together.
Exactly.
But it's scienced together because it works.
It works.
It hits.
It does.
You can't ignore it.
Yeah. And, that's why, I think the biggest thing for me is I try to make songs that will, be familiar and, have some of those elements that make a song, make a song catchy and good. Like pop songs are catchy, but I also like to throw in those more kind of creative elements, like you were talking about. It's like, man, if I want to write if I want to put two guitar solos in a song, that might not be the most traditional way to write a song, but fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Or if I want to make a 2-minute intro, not that I would do that necessarily, but if I wanted to,
if it works, it works.
Exactly. And so yeah, it's
a balance.
For
it's
sure.
a balance.
It really is.
It's a balance.
Yeah.
Everything balance.
Always.
I'm Libra, so she likes to bring that up.
Yeah, I'm constantly trying to remind Libras, you included, that it's very important to maintain balance when things get all wacky in the world. We see it. You're not as peaceful as we like you. Let's keep the balance. Let's keep the peace.
We are getting the balance back.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Maybe when we're not so peaceful.
Arguably, maybe that's the point of conflict, or in general, it's to negotiate and get to that place of peace, and that's why it's necessary. When you're talking about the creative process and trying to find your balance and in expressing yourself, there's an internal conflict that you're going through.
For sure.
So it's all a balance.
Yeah, no, it totally is.
Songwriting is a horrendous, all creation, I think, is a horrendous internal struggle. Anyone who sits down is just like, okay, yeah, this will be great. I'll write a song. It's going to be fantastic. Maybe it is, but they're an asshole. You got to fight that fight. Isn't that part of it?
Totally.
I mean, it should be. You should question yourself. You talked earlier, you said you listen to someone else, oh man, that production's so much better. And I always feel the same way. I'm that really didn't hit as hard as I wanted to, and I really envision it like this. And listen to this, and other people listen to them. Man, that song was great. That really sounded so awesome. I'm like, really? You didn't like the reverb on too much on that?
Yeah.
Too compressed on it? And so they say a good producer's job is to say stop.
Totally. I mean, it's also that's been something that I've struggled with in songwriting, is knowing when to put the pen down too. Is you could go on forever, and I think with Overdrive, some may say maybe this is the reason why I like it's maybe not my favorite song that I've written, but it's definitely up there. But that song, I definitely would say I spent the most time on, because it was the first release, and I was like, this needs to be perfect. I probably spent maybe a month straight or more just mixing it, and
damn,
it's just it's so, and then eventually my girlfriend at the time was like, you stop playing the song.
Oh no.
She's like, I love this song, but you played the same part, 10,000 times. It's perfect. It's good. And I'm like, is it really? But like you said, I'm like, these wahs here, are they reverby enough? Are they not are they not enough reverb? And she's like, what the hell is reverb? It's
Let me Google that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's eventually I think when you're kind of doing it all yourself, I'm trying to be the artist, and I'm trying to be, the producer and the engineer and the mixer and the masterer and all that stuff. I've heard, and, I don't know, I hold my work very close, but I let friends and people that, know what's up, I let them in and give their opinion, but I also have a hard time just passing things off completely and
That
being
was my next question.
Yeah,
how do you delegate all of this? Because I imagine it can be overwhelming for you to kind of create the vibe, but then wear all of these hats.
Yeah, no, it is. It can be overwhelming, and it's time consuming, and with you know, it's not just like music making and releasing. It's like, you know, then you got to think about like, all right, like how's this song going to transition to a live performance and like
or
what
acoustic,
it, like we were saying, like stripping the song down and being acoustic. And it's like, you know, a lot of my time spent on Lot 49 isn't actually like making music. I mean, it goes through stages. When we were doing the album, it was like every day in the studio for hours at a time, like either recording or writing or, you know, whatever. But a lot of it recently, you know, now that we had kind of had music out and I had like, right after the album was out, I wrote a couple more songs and I was like, damn, maybe I should have added these to the album. But, you know, I've saved
Always
them.
good to have some in the bag, though.
Exactly.
Always good to hold some back.
So, but now it's like, all right, well, now I'm planning for like live performance and I'm trying to market and I still want to write new music, and it is a lot of different things, but it's also, you know, I'm protective over it, and I'm open to opinion, but also like I'm not so open to opinion that like just because someone says like you should do something that I'm gonna take their word for it. Like there are times when I'm like, no, like I like the way that it is. So
and that's valid.
It's that's part of being like the mixer and the master too, which, you know, I'm not the greatest, you know, in production, but like holding it that close to me is also a way for me to like see it through to the end, and like, you know, then I know like if it didn't make it, it was not because of anyone else. I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm like, oh, why did I give it to that guy?
Yep.
And, you know, all this stuff. Like if I'm going to fail, like I want to fail. I don't want to fail because, you know, someone else like, you know, said to do something and I trusted them, and it ended up like not being the right call. So it is partly that. It's like I just kind of want to just do it all and like, you know, see where it goes. You know? It
is a lot easier to deal with your own failures.
Yeah.
Then, you know, there's so. How much do you guys know about rodeo?
Rodeo.
All right, here we go, guys.
Not much.
Buckle in. As Anneshirley likes to say, walk with me here. So,
I like it. All right.
So one of the rodeo things is that they have team roping. Team
like
meaning,
actual, okay, yeah,
right, more than one, right? So there is this typically like a steer, which is a castrated male cow, in case you're not aware. And they run out of this gate, and the first guy, the header, who is going for the head, of course, very creative in their title. I think it's French. No. And so he's supposed to catch the head, and then he turns it, and then the guy in the back, the healer, he's supposed to rope the heels, and then bam, they stop the cow, it falls to the ground, and they stop the time, okay? And whoever does this the fastest, and then there's other little things, then they win, right? Well, the thing in rodeo is it's really kind of the only event that two people do. And so the number of drunken brawls that get started because one guy caught the head and the other guy didn't get the heel, you know. So it is always a lot easier to deal with your own failures. Totally. I've lived by that, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that, you know, I never want to come off as like not wanting to include other people. I think, you know, in my past relationships, I always worried about like, I don't want to come off as some like pompous asshole that like is a know-it-all and, you know, doesn't take feedback and all this stuff. But at the same time, it's like, no, if I like have a feeling about something, like I'm gonna go with that.
You should protect your vision.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's wrong. It's just not wrong. And when people ask me to like look at a song that they've done or something, and I'm like how honest do you want me to be? Like if you ask me, I'm gonna be honest with you. And I won't be mean about it. I always want to find what works. I always want to do. It's like, you know what? If it's nothing else, like your voice is incredible in this song. Like don't lose some form of that melody or something. You know, I always try to find a positive, but I'm going to be honest about it. And people should be the same to me. But I always end with, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think.
Right.
Yeah. Like it doesn't. Like I'm glad to give you my advice, but you can. Who gives a shit? It's your thing. If you feel it, if this moves you, it probably will move someone else. And maybe you don't even give a shit about moving someone else, but you need to get this out, and that should be respected.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think like
that's
it's one of the biggest things for me, you know, has been like trying to just stay true to myself, and like, you know, like you said, like just. If you're gonna fail because of yourself. And man, it's like songwriting is tough, and you know, finding that audience is tough. But yeah, I've always just stayed true to like, if I think something's dope, like there's got to be someone else out there that thinks it's dope too. And,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
you know, I'll find that person eventually, but I do it, you know, 99% of it is for me. Like I would make these songs and keep them on my hard drive if there was no, you know, Spotify or social media and all that stuff. But, you know, if all that was stripped away from me, I feel like I would still like create. So,
Good.
Yeah, I mean,
That's authentic, right?
yeah,
there.
totally. So
That's how to define authentic. I
And
believe.
people can kind of see that too. So I feel like people are attracted to that more than if you're really trying to please someone or making a song that isn't really for you.
yeah, totally.
People see through that.
Yeah, for sure.
And hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think our generation does have a tendency to like want that quick fix really fast, but at the same time, we don't want to be catered to, and we don't want like specific message. Like we don't want to tell that you're
Thanks,
catering
guys.
to it. Yeah,
Thanks for making it easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
So, it's really hard.
So many
you know.
parameters. Well, I think you guys have got a good thing going. That's for sure.
For sure.
So
Appreciate it.
we'll put up where that you can be found.
Cool.
And we're going to do a sticker exchange and all that
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yep.
But it was a pleasure having you guys down. I think unless there's any further questions, it's kind of good time to
No, I think
call it a
that's
night.
it. Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, awesome guys.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having us on, and yeah, this has just been such a awesome experience, and it's been great meeting you guys. And
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
You guys
Thank
too.
you. Well, we want to get you back down. So we've got only 30 slots available for the shows. I put the announcement out today. I've already been hit up, bam, 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 bam today.
Damn.
But we
All
need to
right.
get you down here full band and,
For sure.
and
Yeah.
get a show on for on the stage. You gotta play the stage.
Hell yeah.
We like
Stage
the
is
acoustic
awesome.
stuff, but yeah, I think our bread and butter is definitely
Oh, let's put a full band up
yeah,
there.
yeah, it's always the most fun for sure.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah,
Very good.
make it happen.
All right, everybody. Peace. Good night.
Cheers.